Hello, I'm Alisa from School of Liberal Arts, Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University.
And I'm Jay. Welcome to Culture Me, where we talk about cultural issues and differences. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to email us at stoucultureme@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/stoucultureme. And don't forget to like us.
สวัสดีค่ะนี่เป็นรายการ Culture มีรายการที่26นะคะซึ่งเป็นรายการสุดท้ายของเราในชุดนี้นะคะถ้าท่านผู้ฟังมีความคิดเห็นข้อเสนอแนะก็สามารถส่งไปได้ที่ Gmail ที่ Gmail นะคะหรือที่ Facebook ของเรานะคะอาจารย์ so far we have 25 shows already
Yes,
25 topics on cultures
and the time has flown by. It's flown by.
Ajahn, could you sort of wrap up what we have done so far? The first thing I think we did with the reason why we have to understand other culture.
Yeah,
right?
we talked about in the first two shows. We talked about why cultural understanding other cultures is important, why it matters, so that if you're in business or if you're traveling, so that there aren't so many misunderstandings and so that there's more acceptance. It's easier to accept something if you understand it and if you've heard about it.
And the third and the fourth will be on common English mistakes in Thailand.
Yes, which I felt was very important because there are some words that are used very differently in Thailand and it causes confusion for tourists.
Yeah, and the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh, we focused on etiquette, telephone, meeting, travel.
Right. For telephone etiquette, a lot of my friends and students have voiced concern and apprehension when they have to make an international phone call. When they have to call foreigners, they're always nervous. They're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And for meetings, the same thing. A lot of people are nervous about how they should behave in a meeting, and other people get upset when people don't do the right thing.
Yeah, and business people do travel a lot, isn't it? So you should know some etiquette.
Exactly, because you might.
Then we have another 4 shows on cultural differences in ASEAN, between Thailand and the US, between British and American.
With the cultural differences within ASEAN, I think that's going to play a more and more important role for Thais. It's necessary to know the cultural differences because of ASEAN, the AEC, which is part of it. It's extremely important, especially if you're in business. And
then we have Christmas information about culture.
That was mostly just for fun, but interesting.
But because it's in December that we did this. And we have English softener, Ajahn, for 2 shows about the language to be polite.
Exactly. Especially dealing with people from all over the world, you want to make a good impression. And you want what you're saying to sound extremely polite.
Then the 16th show, we have country fun facts.
That was mostly for fun, but it was interesting. I loved doing the research for that one. It was very interesting just to know some random trivia about other countries.
Then another 3 shows on culture, like culture shocked, the cultured and uncultured, and pop culture, Ajahn. These 3 are sort of a bit serious, isn't it?
Those are more serious because culture shock is something that most people experience after moving to a foreign country. And we talked about the symptoms and what you can do to make it better and how long it lasts and the stages. And the cultured and uncultured, there are many expressions and slang words that are used to describe people who are uncultured, and you hear them on TV and in movies, and so we discuss those so that people would understand what those words mean.
Then we have some words to update ourselves, I think, on food and diets and the environment of the new vocabulary.
Right. There are so many popular diets right now, and I'll read a headline, or a friend will say, I'm doing banting, and at first I was like, what is banting? What does that mean? And but it's the name of a diet.
Yeah.
And
the environment of changing weather.
Right. And what different storms mean, and the difference between storm warning and storm watch, which one's more important.
And then we have this Japanese etiquette and how different cultures disagree.
Yes. Japanese etiquette I felt was important because so many Thais are now traveling to Japan, and they have a different culture.
Yeah. And the last two we have was tech terms pronunciation and brand names and names of places.
Right.
This focus on pronunciation of things. Really.
Right. And the tech terms was I felt was important when you're in business or just work at a company, and if you're talking to someone from a different culture, just to know the different pronunciations of tech terms, and also if you work in a shop, knowing the correct pronunciation of foreign brands.
Ajahn, next we have been collecting some questions from our listeners.
Yes.
So I like to share this with you.
Okay.
Maybe the first few questions concern a lot about Americans, because you are Americans, right?
That's good. Yeah, and I am. Yeah, and hopefully I can answer them.
Yeah. Just exchange your ideas. There's no right or wrong answer, isn't it?
Yes, just my opinion. My opinion.
Are there any things in Thai that you can't find in Thailand that you can in America? This is a very broad question, isn't it?
That is very broad. Most things I can find. I can find the cheeses that I like, and I can find wine, but it's more expensive here, so I don't buy it. But one thing I actually that did surprise me is that I can't find as many Thai products in Thailand
as in America. Maybe you go to the wrong place.
What I've found out since I've lived here is there are a lot of companies in Thailand that are export only.
Oh yeah,
and the things that they make, they're not available.
I see what you mean.
And I was looking for some cookware.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find the good quality that I had in the U.S. And I had mine shipped. Finally, I had my old cookware from the U.S. shipped.
Oh.
And when I unwrapped it, I just laughed because
made in Thailand.
Made in Thailand.
Ajahn, what do you think about Thai food? Does it taste the same as in America? Thai food in America
Not
and Thai
really.
food in Thailand?
Not really. It's in America. It's less spicy. It's less spicy because some, or I would
like fusion food. Maybe.
It is more like fusion food. It is. It is. It exactly is. There's more meat in the dishes. A lot more meat, and Penang is very popular in the U.S., but it's a lot richer.
Yeah.
And I think has a lot more fat in it.
I think they have adapted so much not to be authentic Thai food.
Exactly. But
but it matched your taste. I don't know.
It does. I mean, it's still different. It's still Thai, but you're right. It's fusion. Because Americans like more meat, and so it has a lot more. If it's chicken, it has a lot more chicken. And if it's chicken, it only has the breast meat, not the dark meat. It only has the breast meat.
What about American food in Thailand, Ajahn? Talking about authentic Thai food now, authentic American food. What is American food, Ajahn? Can you tell me? Burger?
It can be a burger. It could be steaks. It could be American style fried chicken. It could be anything. And there are a lot of Western restaurants in Thailand, and there are a few that it's authentic, but most I would say, are not. Most the food has sugar added, like, and it's sweet, and even pizza. Most of the pizza companies or restaurants that make pizza in Thailand, most of it, they put a lot more sugar in the sauce, and sweet. And yeah, in America it's not. And the same with spaghetti. Spaghetti is never sweet in the U.S.
John, this is another things from our audience that they like to know whether Americans really want to have people come to their houses like in the movie.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. And yes, we do. We do.
You want to entertain your friends at home?
Yeah, we like that. We like that. And it's, if it's your friends, you hang out at your house, you have backyard barbecues, you have parties, and it's just very normal to entertain at home. And for business, it's considered really much more special if you invite a client or a business contact. If you invite them to your house for dinner, that's so much more personal than just going to a restaurant. And most Americans feel that their houses say who they are, and that they reflect their personality. So it's kind of like letting someone into your mind almost. It's like, this is who I am.
More relaxing.
And it's more relaxing. Exactly.
John, so has living in Thailand changed you somehow?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely no longer monocultural. My views have changed, and I feel I've become more patient. Because things in Thailand, it takes longer. Mostly because of the traffic. And, when I first came, the traffic would drive me insane. And sometimes, it can take an hour to go 3 kilometers.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I don't like that, but it doesn't really bother me like it did. And so I'm just like, I look out the window, I stare at my phone. But yeah, at first I was like, I want out of this taxi. And now I'm just, it doesn't, So I think I've become more patient.
John, now the audience questions shift to Western people. I don't know who he or she asks about the wearing shoes. If Western people wear shoes inside their houses.
Yeah, almost all. Most. There are some people
with the carpet on sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe the street was so clean.
Well, actually, that's yeah. I mean,
if you're in a mud, but then you have the boots though. Like in the UK, you have Wellington boots when you wear on top of your shoes again.
Exactly. Most of the time, the sidewalks are very clean. Dogs are not allowed to poop on the sidewalks.
Oh, yeah. You have to take a plastic bag.
You have to take a plastic bag and put it in the trash, or you can get a very expensive fine.
And they even wear shoes and walk into their bedroom.
But
it's weird to me too. Still somehow I couldn't see to it as the natural things.
It's when people are like,
and they jump on their bed, in the movie, of course, with their shoes.
No, that's in the movies. I don't know anyone who would get on their bed with shoes on.
Yeah.
No, that's in the movies. But like you said, if there's bad weather, then no, you take off your boots or wet shoes. You don't wear those. But usually the sidewalks are extremely clean, and so there's really no reason to take your shoes off to go inside. But
about these shoes things, and we come to this, why do many foreigners point with their feet?
Okay.
Because you consider feet something equal to hands, right?
Not really. Something I had to get used to, like, in Thailand, you can see people's feet when you're eating, like, because people have their shoes off. That was very strange to me at first, because it was like, ooh, I can see your feet, and I'm eating. Yeah, that bothered me.
My goodness.
But
you can use your feet to do many things too, But in Thailand or in Asian countries, we don't seem to value feet in that way.
Right, right. But does it not bother you to see feet when you're eating?
No, because
No?
we take shoes off and then to some restaurant you have to take shoes off and sit on the floor.
I know, but then you can see people's feet. But
Well, yeah.
about pointing, I in a guidebook, and I think it's in almost every guidebook. I read that before I ever came to Thailand about don't point with your feet. And I thought, who points with their feet? I don't know anyone who points with my feet. But I didn't realize that we actually do it. But we don't think about it. But it's usually when we, like my hands are full and I might point at something with my foot, like to gesture where something
Or
is.
you close the door with your
Close
foot.
your, yeah, that's if my hands are full. Yeah. It's, but I had a conversation with a foreigner about this because we both had the same experience of we didn't think that we pointed with our feet, but we do and we don't know it.
Ajahn, and this cultural diversity in ASEAN, so many countries, do you think it's a strength or weakness? The difference, the diversity, Ajahn.
I think it's both. I think it can be a major strength, but I think it could be a weakness if people aren't accepting and knowledgeable about other cultures. It depends on the acceptance. With the diversity, it is and if everyone is respectful of the differences, it's a huge strength for the community.
Diversity comes in like the food and other things like the music, the dance, everything, and many things.
And ways of doing things. So when dealing with another ASEAN community, it's important to be open to try new ways of doing things.
Yeah, because I think it's the kind of motto for ASEAN too, that you have diversity but one voice.
Right, right.
That is the ASEAN that we should be aware of. And we talks about differences in culture, and one of the audience like to know how can we live in peace with people from different cultures. You like one kind of food, I like one kind of food.
Well,
you like K-pops, I like Thai pops. How are we going to live in peace, Ajahn?
I think by just respecting the differences, acknowledging and accepting and respecting the differences, and not wanting everything your way, and being able to, being willing to try new things and keeping an open mind. And if you don't feel that you are superior to the world, then it shouldn't be a problem.
I think this you have to be observant too, right?
Exactly.
You have to see the differences and be sensitive to things.
Exactly.
Ajahn, we have used up our valuable times a lot, but for the last question that we like to share with you is about foreigners. That what is the hardest part of living in Thailand, Ajahn? With now it becomes the diverse of the culture as well, not just Thai culture.
Right.
You have Korean community, Chinese community, Japanese, and it become more of the many cultures.
Yeah, I mean, especially Bangkok, it's such a multicultural city.
What is the hardest part in living in Thailand, Ajahn?
I would say the way people drive is still scary to me. It's still scary to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you survive, Ajahn.
Me too.
Thank you very much, Ajahn, for these enjoyable 26 shows that we have been doing together.
They were fun.
Thank you, Ajahn.
And thanks for joining us.